Thermomixing Adventures. My name is Lisa Keegan and welcome to our series this week on getting more out of your Thermomix. Now this week we're focusing on the splash guard. Now the splash guard is a cool TM6 attachment, but this doesn't mean that those of you with a TM31 or a TM5 miss out. I'm actually going to tell you the tips to be able to do this in your Thermomix as well. So stick with me today as I show you how to use this and through the week as we use it for all our recipes. Now today I'm doing something really quite simple, but it means I don't have to get a saucepan out, which to me, that's huge because when I cook with a saucepan, I burn things. I don't know about you. So this is so super simple and it's a guided recipe. It uses our high heat functionality on our TM6, but I'll tell you how to do it on your TM5 and TM31 shortly. First things first is some oil. Now it's important with the high heat function recipes that we actually meet the weight requirements. Otherwise it just won't go. It'll give you an error and say, this is not right. And it's so that you don't damage your bowl. So that's handy, right? Now next thing it says some onion or some garlic clove. I'm going to skip that out altogether, but I need to know that I need to make up 20 grams somewhere else. It normally says to heat that up without the measuring cup for 2 minutes. I like shortcuts. I'm going to skip that, okay? You guys know that sometimes I do that because I want to get straight to the point and walk away, and that's the beauty of Thermomix cooking is the fact that you set it and you walk away and forget it. And then it sees you later to say, come back and tend to me. How cool is that? Next thing here is that chicken thigh, boneless, skinless, cut into strips. I've pre-done that, but I've also put a little bit extra. See how it says 250 grams? I've put, I think, 300. It has to, though, be more than the quantity, plus that 20 grams of onion before, right? We need to make sure we make up with that as well. So I plop that in there. It does say to make sure it's evenly distributed. Yeah, that's not too bad, right? Next. Now, we're going to put on our lid and we're going to put on our splash guard. So our lid goes first, splash guard goes second. Now the splash guard's job is to let the humidity out so that our meat doesn't boil off, but it actually caramelizes off as we go. So we've clicked on done and now we've got 7 minutes and that's all it takes. How cool is this that I can have slices of chicken for my salad for lunch, for a pizza, which is what we're doing. Maybe it's going on bread rolls. There's so many things you might want, just some strips of chicken for, or it could be beef, it could be pork, it could be lamb. And tomorrow night you'll see me do the veggies, of course, as well. So many reasons this is just so quick and easy to do. Now, just something quite unique with the TM6 is you're going to hear it wiggle and jiggle, and then you're going to hear it stop and start sizzling. So we'll hang around for that. And as we do, let me tell you, if you have a TM31 or a TM5, your steps are you're going to put 10 minutes on, yes, 10 minutes, Varoma, yes, Varoma, then reverse, speed 1, and put your simmering basket on top, okay? That is important. That lets that humidity out. Again, we're trying to reduce the sweat off. That's what we're trying to do. Can you hear that? It's starting to sizzle. That's what we're looking for. That is now my fry pan that I would have once cooked on the stove and burnt black because I'm too impatient and I turned the heat up too high. So this is the beauty of Thermomix cooking. Now in 7 minutes time, I will come back and I will show you what this final product looks like. And I'll give you some tips for cleaning up in your Thermomix too. So I'll see you shortly for the next step. Okay, it's done. I've just taken the lid off and had a sneak peek in and then I remembered I should turn the video on. Look at that, it's done. In all that time, 7 minutes, it's finished. How good is that? Now I did have a little extra and I had closer to 300 grams. You can either pick it out and then that leaves the oil behind, or you can just pour it out like I did. Just be careful of the ones that are splattering out at you. And now you'll see there's a bit of stuff stuck to the bottom. Now you've got a couple of options here. Now, ideally you get your spatula, excuse me for a second while I dig on the bowl. If you get your spatula in there and give it a rub around, look at that, beautiful. That'll come pretty much, I don't know if you guys can see that, lighting's terrible. Actually, let's go that way, there we go. That stuff will all likely come off. But what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to show you today how we use citric acid to remove usually burns, okay? So big brown burns. You can use this on a TM5, 31, 6, it doesn't matter. And what you need is citric acid. You need 1 tablespoon of citric acid. Now don't spill your citric acid on anything plastic like your handles and stuff, your polypropylene. And we're just going to put it around and intentionally put it on what would be the burnt parts. Obviously, that's not even burnt in there. That could come off, but I'm going to show you. So now we're going to put into it, let's get out of this recipe, 250 grams of water or approximately a cup of water. And on this TM that I've got, we're going to use kettle feature because we've got a kettle feature. But if you are on a TM31 or a TM5, you're going to use Varoma. We need to have our lid in place, and we're going to actually just bring this up to boil. So it'll probably take about 10 minutes on a TM31, about 8 minutes on a TM5 to bring up that to boil, and we just spin the dial on our kettle feature. You can see that's on 100 degrees, so I just click on the kettle and off it goes. Now at the end of this time, we're literally going to be able to get our spatula in there and wipe off the marks on the bottom. So I'll come back in a moment, and I know this isn't necessarily splash guard recipe, but I like to give you these tips so that you know how easy it is to use your Thermomix. And when something goes wrong, like hey, you get a really dry cut of meat and you saute it off like that and it all sticks and burns, like the meat's fine, it's gonna be fine, but it's your bowl. Rather than scrubbing it, you know how to do this. So let me come back in a couple of minutes and I will show you how easy this is to lift off the bottom of the bowl. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, that took no time at all. Like I literally walked and got my spatula from the kitchen and came back and it was done. That's because we've got so little water in there. We've only got about that much water in the bottom, which makes that citric acid super concentrated. As I may mention though, don't spill it on anything because it is like a really strong vinegar. It will lift the color off things. Perfect for our stainless steel though. It lifts it up to a beautiful new color. So what I'm gonna do, I don't know if you can see, but I'm gonna put my spatula in. I'm just gonna wiggle it around in there. And it literally is lifting everything off. Now I do have my TM5 and 31 spatula. Now, didn't like it when we used to have it, but love it now for this because it actually has that, like it's quite stiff on the bottom. So it means all these marks, they don't even need scrubbing. It will just rub around and rub off. Now remember, it's super hot in there. It is boiling temperature. So don't go putting your fingers in there, but that is literally taking, I wonder if I've got anything to pour this into. I'll see if I can pour it into the jar up the back and I'll show you what this looks like inside. So give it a rub with your spatula. Let me pour it out for you and just show you. Obviously, if you're working at a sink, you just pour it down your sink. Let me just show you. Look at that. Oh, it's better to stand here, isn't it? Look at that. It's all just coming off. Just lifts off. I've got a bit of meat stuck around the blades. That's got to be washed off, but it's not stuck to the bottom, right? And that's the beauty of the Thermomix cooking, and the kettle feature is everything just wipes off. All right, so a little tip for today before we go. So I'm so excited this week to show you simmering basketing in your, no, it's not even that. What are we calling it? Splash guard week with your Thermomix. I really do hope that you are inspired, regardless of what model, to get more out of it trying these recipes, whether it's just for making some meat strips fried off for a salad, or whether it's going to be more this week like our honeycomb and our sugar stages. I'm so excited to show you more. So otherwise, reach out if I can support you with anything with your Thermomix. I look forward to seeing you in the next video soon. So take care till then. Bye for now.